Hey listeners, you're listening to the Midnight Readers podcast. Grab some tea, a midnight snack, and cuddle up in bed as we dive deep into today's popular fantasy, sci-fi, and mysteries. We're your hosts. I'm Lily.
I'm Brittany.
And I'm Christy.
This season we'll be discussing a dark academia bully romance series known for its smutty content and often touted as a Harry Potter for adults. That's right, grab some Stardust, we're headed to Solaria.
Welcome to Zodiac Academy. Note to students, vampire bites, loss of limbs, or getting lost in the Wailing Woods will not count as a valid excuse for being late to class or this podcast.
In today's episode, we're discussing Book 3, The Reckoning, chapters 1 through 13. In these chapters, the school is not only dealing with the aftermath of the attack, but also gearing up for the reckoning, along with the lunar eclipse and Hell Week to boot. Will the twins be ready for what's to come?
Before we get into it, this is your warning for major spoilers ahead. This includes potentially all Zodiac Academy world books, including the Ruthless Boys and Darkmoor Penitentiary series. We might accidentally let spoilers slip for other popular romantasy book series as well. Sorry in advance. Like the books, this podcast is rated R. There is sex and spicy content, and we will discuss it. Also, language be warned.
Also, a friendly reminder to please like, subscribe, and follow. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.
Last we saw our girls, they had just survived the nymph attack. There are 12 deaths, 8 from Starlight, 4 from Zodiac, 2 juniors, and 2 freshmen. There's countless injuries, and Orion is tired, out of magic, and he's headed back home. There is a school assembly at midnight. And honestly, for me, I'm a night person, so that's an okay time for me. But that is a weird time for a school assembly.
Yeah, it is a weird time for an assembly, but I guess, I don't know, the Zodiac Academy is so different. I don't know if it's really that weird for them.
Figured it was more like an emergency-based thing.
Yeah.
And so Orion goes home and washes, and Chrissy, you brought this up earlier, but he puts on his smart pants.
So yeah, I guess for the ebook, there's some fuck ups. So instead of putting on his sweatpants, he puts on his smart pants.
I was looking for that part that you were talking about, his smart pants, and I was like, what is she talking about?
Yeah, and I was like, well,
Lord.
maybe it makes sense because instead of thinking caps, they have smart pants since they like to think with their dicks anyway.
Oh my God.
Oh,
Yeah, I definitely, for the ebooks, they're a little harder to read. I think they've got more scripts, but they don't have freaking chapter numbers.
Yeah, I think this time I went back and forth between the ebook and the audiobook a little bit, and the ebook is so different. I don't know if it's a quality control thing, if it's that it came out first on ebook. I don't know.
it is indie published.
Yeah.
So Washer's a little out of it. He actually does something nice for Orion and doesn't do it with innuendo. And we talked about this in another episode where you were like, can the sirens take people's emotions? And that's what he does here for Orion.
You know, this section of this book made me, because there's a lot of Washer in these chapters. This section of this book made me question, is he just a creep? Because I feel like he obviously has a lot of issues that I don't like that scene when they have sex ed. But, and we'll get to that. But I don't know, Washer doesn't seem awful. He's just really creepy and weird. Like, if he would
And
just
gross.
rein it in a little bit and, like, have his inside thoughts instead of, like, telling everybody what he's thinking, you know, he might be okay.
Agreed.
Yeah, I'm going to disagree. I think he's straight up awful, but I think that with the catastrophe that happened, it gave him like one moment of pause to knock the other shit off. But no, I think that the other shit is him.
I think he's gross, but I don't think he's like a terrible person. I think he doesn't understand boundaries and like does not understand when something is really inappropriate, and he needs somebody to be like upfront with him and honest. But other than that, I don't think he's a terrible, evil being. He's just fucking weird.
Agreed. I think that he needs to learn some boundaries,
Yes.
especially with Orion.
And the students.
Just wait.
So
And
I was
the
going to
students
say,
too, but he lives next to Orion.
Oh no. Oh no.
Okay, but by Brittany's face, blatantly Washer's not horrible because she didn't make a face.
He's not evil.
Yeah, I don't think
He
he's
just-
evil. He's just a fucking weirdo.
He's a terribly gross, creepy old man who, if I ever met in person, I would avoid at all costs.
Would you throw punch him?
I might.
But anyways.
Hey, yeah. Special Agent Franny shows up.
Oh, throw punch her.
I hate the way she just like demands his memories. Like, who the fuck do you think you are?
Yeah. Again, it's one of those situations. I don't think she's a bad person, but she really gets on my nerves. Maybe it's because I'm Team Darcy. I don't like that she has a crush on Orion and also demands things from him. I don't know.
Supposedly they're Nebula allies, but she also seems to think that means she gets to stay in his bed whenever she wants.
Yeah, I don't like that. That's a boundary that should not be crossed. I guess they're just like fuck buddies, but I hate that concept. The whole concept of that, I just don't like it in general, so.
I know you didn't like it when he bit Tory.
Yeah.
And he bites Franny here.
Also, incorrigible.
Even
Ridiculous.
though he needs it?
I don't give a fuck.
Oh, that's great.
I feel like the writers tried to explain a little bit about their history to make you care or understand. But I found myself going,
Same.
Okay.
You're trespassing.
Yes.
I shouldn't care. Like, oh, and can I just say, for the whole fucking part of this, Diego is getting on my last fucking nerve.
We have so
Oh
much to
My-
talk about.
I don't give a shit about your fucking hat for your fucking grandmother. And I realize I'm jumping ahead a bit, but I think it's Tori that's like, oh, I'm sorry, we didn't have parents that could knit fucking hats. Like,
Dude, we have so much to talk about with Diego. Not only is he fucking, you know what? He's a pansy, first of all. Second of all, he is up to some shit. He is up to some shit, and we already clocked it a book ago, and I am ready to talk about it.
Oh my gosh.
But we'll get there. We'll have to fucking talk about it when we get there. But Diego can fucking shut the fuck up, for real.
yes.
So Francesca shows up, and she's being
Francesca.
annoying.
So they head to the assembly. He's only 5 minutes late, and which is a miracle. After he passed out from bourbon drinking, pretty sure he has a problem.
Yeah.
He gets there, he's thinking, the girls are a threat to Darius, and Nova announces that the students need to buck up. The school's on lockdown. There's now a curfew. I don't know if personally I could deal with this.
This scene reminds me of the scene in Harry Potter, in that Harry Potter movie where they're all sleeping together in the area where they like eat or have like their meals, and they're all sleeping on the floor and Dumbledore is there talking over them. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I do, and I think you're right. It might be in an earlier one.
I think
Maybe
it's-
with Sirius Black.
Yeah, I think it's the third movie where they're talking about how Sirius Black is like out and running, and that he got into the castle and they like gather them all in one room. And I don't know, this scene reminded me a lot of that for some reason.
Is that after the painted lady, I can't remember her name,
Trey.
locks them out because Sirius supposedly broken?
Yeah.
And they all sleep in the
Yeah.
okay.
I think
yeah.
so. That's what I'm thinking of. But for some reason, this scene reminds me of that because it's like midnight and it's like they're having this like assembly and they're like, don't worry about it. Everything's going to go on like normal, but also there's a curfew and nobody should be out past a certain time. And it just reminds me of that. And it is the third book, might I know. What I'm saying is this is the
More
third
stuff.
book of Zodiac Academy, and that would have been the third book of Harry Potter, which I think
Yeah.
is really interesting.
All right. So Orion realizes that the curfew is going to cause problems for him and Darius, and they're on the side training. So he pulls him out to have a private conversation with him. And then the FIB kind of walks up and interrogates him.
Which I thought was dumb. That was a dumb scene.
And then he tells the guy that Franny is his girlfriend.
Yeah.
Which
Even
is
though
the
he's
point
like-
of the scene, I think.
Yeah, he's like, well, she's not really my girlfriend, but she'll back it up.
I don't like that. Again, I feel like that is a betrayal.
Do we see anything happen from that? Like either her response to it of like, ooh, I'm your girlfriend.
Maybe.
Okay, that sound. I felt like there was a Pegasus on the.
So one thing I wanted to mention is that Darius and Orion are hunting nymphs, and it's completely illegal for them to do their vigilante routine. So, first book, Tory overhears them talking about killing people, and Darcy overhears him talking to Franny about killing people. So, do you think they were talking about killing the nymphs?
Yes.
Maybe this is what they were talking about instead of killing the twins.
Maybe. I guess that makes more sense. I would hate to say yes and then be wrong, though.
I will say yes. Yes. I'm always wrong, so it doesn't matter.
You were right about Seth for now.
Well,
Do it.
I said you were right about Seth
For now.
For now.
Oh, no.
she's like, no, I'm just right about Seth.
He can try, and he does try, but it's always for selfish reasons.
So Tori and Darcy spend the night together in Ignis' house, and they're woken up by a weird gonging sound and a message from the principal. It's Hell Week.
Yeah, Hell Week. So they get to be like hazed by the entire school, is basically what it is.
Yeah, and they decide that for Tori and Darcy, this could either be a good or a bad thing. It could mean it's life as usual. It could mean that it's easier for them because attention is spread out through the whole freshman class, or it could mean the targets on their back is bigger. What do y'all think? How's this going to turn out for them?
It's just a little of both. It's obviously, I mean, people were already trying to get them in trouble, but now it's everyone.
It's open season on them. Now it just includes everybody, though.
Though I don't think anybody's gone out of their way to specifically target the twins.
Probably not after the nymph attack.
Well, Marguerite did,
She was doing other people too, though.
but that felt personal.
Well, of course.
Yeah, like, I feel like even though she was doing other people, that's because it's Hell Week, but I felt like her attack was intended for Tori and Darcy.
And I love that Tori and Darcy are like, she's not very bright, is she? Doesn't have original thought in her head.
Yeah.
Do that, though.
She writes whore on Tori's head, just talk to my raven on Darcy's, and Vega ass licker on Sophia.
Which is like, okay, can you come up with anything more interesting? And then whenever they try to get that off of their foreheads, and Sophia's like, I know a spell to get it off of your forehead. I was like, okay, so Sophia is the Hermione, which is like what you've been saying. And the more that we keep reading the book, it's like more obvious.
Every spell she tries, it works. She is fucking Hermione.
Yeah, especially in
She
the
knows
early
all
books.
the answers.
Okay, so ask me how I feel about Sophia.
So how do you feel about Sophia?
Okay, I'm solidly Team Sophia now. I mean, Team Jerry is always going to be top spot, but Team Sophia is pretty close.
Ah!
Christy has changed
Yeah.
her mind.
Absolutely, she has pulled it out. Yeah.
Da 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 da. Yay.
Oh my gosh. So then they go to class, and Kylie is making this big production about how she's so sad that poor Lily Jessup's died in the nymph attack.
Oh my god, these are the worst kind of people. Like, did you really even know her?
Yeah.
You know who she reminded me of? Diego.
Damn. Because she's all whiny and bitchy? Yeah. But it's my hat, my grandmother's hat. She knitted it
my
for me
God.
before she died.
Would you like to join her?
Oh my god.
Oh.
Yeah, what are you gonna do about it? What are you gonna do about it? You gonna get the hat back? No? Okay, then stop bitching about it.
Then they get an article by Mr. Pecker again. It's full of lies. The thing I don't understand why they don't think about, it's got quotes in there from the heirs and Marguerite. First of all, Marguerite ran her ass away from that field. She did not participate in that fight. And she has the gall to call friendly fire. You wonder, since all this is made up, did they actually say those quotes, or are they made up?
I could see Marguerite saying that.
Darius too?
No, not in that way. Why are you laughing?
I could see him saying it.
This is very immediate. No.
I could see him saying it, but I think that I don't think he means it. But I could see him saying it.
It was maybe out of context, maybe in a way that would, however, the question was framed, and that
I
the
don't
meaning
know.
was changed.
I think the quote's kind of clear, though, I think. I don't know. I can't remember.
I know that's what I was about to read. What's the quote?
I would need to read
Line?
it.
It's like all we ask is that the Vega twins step aside so that the right rulers can, take over and Solarian people can back their.
That sounds right, but wasn't there something before that?
I think it was just Marguerite.
I thought, okay.
I could be wrong.
Or just that could have been something he fucking said before and they just like stuck it in there.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, this one is not something he hasn't said before.
Yeah, exactly.
Tyler. His mom works for the Daily Solaria, and he promises the twins that he will get her the real story. And he gives them a thank you note and acknowledges that they might have saved his life.
Oh, yeah. Oh, when I was reading this part, it made me realize that the fucking fox guy, Mr. Pecker, is Rita Skeeter.
He is. Oh my God, he
It's
is.
Rita Skeeter. And this is like, I'm sorry I keep comparing it to Harry Potter, but it's just like, it's so
Obvious.
so easy.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe I didn't put that together.
Definitely Rita Skeeter, because she's like the most annoying character until Hermione turns her into a beetle, which by the way, she's like never freed. Like Hermione does that forever.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, like I don't remember it ever being addressed in the books that she frees Rita from becoming a beetle.
I don't think she does.
Oversight.
Or intentional on Hermione's behalf.
Oh man.
But anyways, Mr. Pecker is Rita, and Tyler is Luna with her dad, who has the Quibbler.
Oh my gosh.
See, I thought Geraldine was more of Luna.
I mean, sure, in personality.
Holy hotcakes.
Definitely in personality, but in terms of having the parent with another magazine.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. So this starts Tyler's character development.
Love
He
it.
stops, well, he doesn't stop being the assholey pervert jerk, but he starts to grow from now on.
And I love that. I'm so happy about it. I was just like, yes, it's time.
He's the adorable pervert.
Yeah, he's not Mr. Washer.
No.
He's like another side of it. He's just kind of dumb, and you can't help but like enjoy laughing at him.
Yeah.
The hashtag.
Oh my gosh.
Hashtag sparkly gem. Throwback to the special episode.
Oh yeah, the hashtag have you heard about the turd and stop the plop.
Stop the plop. Oh man.
Oh, it's so great.
But yes, Tyler approaches the twins and he actually starts to be a decent person a little bit. And then we find out that he may or may not, oh wait, that's later, that he likes Sophia.
Oh, okay.
But that's later,
I was like,
right?
Yeah. Okay, so Orion strides in, watermelon under his arm, and he dresses it with Diego's hat.
At this point, it's comical.
Yeah. And he challenges Diego to get the hat back before the end of class, and which he does. It just doesn't stay in his possession for very long.
Because he hands it off to somebody else
To Darcy, yeah.
to do his dirty work once again.
Oh, that was Darcy's suggestion, because she was like, he'll search you. And I love when he comes back in and he notices the hat's gone and he figures out that Darcy has it. And he's like, well, first of all, she shoved it in her skirt and was like, of course he won't go there.
I wouldn't put it past him, just maybe not in front of everyone.
And then he's like, house points from every house unless she gives it up.
Now that's just cruel.
What do they use that for? I'd be like, take them.
That's such a good point. Like, what the fuck is the point of the house points?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, to be fair, this is week 5 of the first year, so we haven't made it to the end of the year yet.
this
Yes,
is
but in
week
Harry
5?
Potter, they tell them what they're going to get at the end.
Yeah.
They get a pizza
Okay.
party.
They do. They get a party. It's not a pizza party, but
Wait, they actually get a party?
yeah,
Wow.
the team or the house with the most points do get a party.
Goofy.
Yeah, why not have fun? Lose all your points. Have a party the whole term.
Fuck that house party.
That literally is how I would feel. I'd be like, I don't give a fuck about the point.
I think there's something else to it, but I'm not 100% sure. I can't remember since it's completely glossed over, just mentioned for a second and moved on.
Okay.
We learned there are several magics that all Fae have the ability to perform. They are healing, coercion, levitation, summoning, illusion, divination, and atmospheric manipulation. And this answers some of y'all's questions that y'all had in the first couple of episodes. Y'all did ask if people could shapeshift or appear as somebody they are not. So the illusion magic, it allows them to change their face if they want to. They can change their voice, they can change objects. And we do learn later that there are protections you can put over your image so that you can't be duplicated. So all the Fae have the ability to appear as somebody who they are not.
Is it a banana?
I bet after this session, you'll never look a banana or a peach the same way again.
Oh my god, when Tori said she ate her peach, she was like, I ate it. And I was just like, I can't do this.
I love how she treated Orion in that class, like a friend almost. I mean, she was like such a smart
Yeah,
ass.
I love it.
Well, in this class, he calls her out for liking Caleb's bite a little too much.
He's one to talk. Wouldn't he want that? Like, come on,
Agreed.
dummy. Like, I would be careful with that, or you might not get what you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, you will.
Yeah, he will.
Yeah, probably. Darcy is way easier to give in.
But he's like, nobody will judge you if you lose. They'll only judge you if you don't fight back. And if you can't handle it, get the hell out of my class.
And then a boy gets up and leaves.
Elijah.
He said,
Indus.
and bye.
Yeah. Elijah Indus,
And then-
remember his name. He will pop up later.
Oh, I remember him.
Oh,
I
no.
remember him from later. Very well, actually. Can't wait to talk about it.
But
And then he comes back in.
Orion takes him out into the hall to yell when he comes back. I don't care if your parents sold organs.
Fucking hell. Okay, that's such a funny scene though. You can just imagine sitting in a classroom and then him walking out and then all of a sudden he's just like yelling and everyone like glums to the door like, what's happening?
They didn't even have to get close. He yelled
No.
loud enough for everybody to hear.
I don't give a fuck if your parents sold their organs for you to come here.
Oh, man.
Now you act like it.
And he has to earn his seat back. He makes him stand for the rest of the time.
I was shocked he even let him back in, though.
Yeah,
I
same.
really was like, whoa, that's friendly. Like,
Yeah.
making him stand.
That's friendly.
Friendly for Orion.
Dude, I love Orion. Darcy made him soft, okay?
No, she didn't.
You're like, no.
he's
Maybe later. Different kind of soft. Get your head out of the gutter, Christy.
Listen.
Do I need to
What do you think this book is?
do I need to bring the Pegasus sex doll in for you?
with the vibrator.
Oh my god.
The whip.
that's so
The whip.
funny.
The whip, which I feel like was not touched
No.
on enough.
Wait, what wasn't touched enough?
The whip with
I'm done, I swear.
Oh my god. Oh Lord. Oh my goodness.
Okay. I promise.
No, it's great.
Comedy gold.
Great. So Tori's not skipping lunch after missing breakfast, and she runs to the Protection of the Ass Club. And Geraldine and Diego is still bitching about his hat.
Shut the fuck
Yep.
up, Diego.
And let's talk about Geraldine and Angelica's prank. Getting her Diet
Oh,
Coke
Oh.
and half-fat free mayo. That's their idea of a prank.
Geraldine was so proud of herself too. She was just
Oh my god.
living her best life.
Oh,
My goodness.
and Tori, I love that she's like, Geraldine, How could you? That fake outrage.
See, I didn't get that.
I love that she did that though, because she was like, Geraldine, and Geraldine was like, yeah, you be mad. Like, felt even better about it.
I love Jerry. I want a bracelet that says, "What would Jerry do?"
Oh my gosh.
Oh my god. We need to get Christy like a little sign of Jerry with the Cerberus and everything.
Oh my god. Yeah, she's great.
Jerry fan club.
And Caleb sends a messenger over with a 2-minute warning.
Dude, this is so fun. I love it. I love it. Can I just say the vampires are the best?
They are, yeah.
They're the best. He said, 2-minute warning, I'm about to chase you. And she was like, I don't want to do that. But like, she does. She does. Let's not
yeah.
lie.
And this is after the messages, right?
Yeah, oh, we forgot to talk about the...
We forgot to talk about the sexy messages.
Okay, I also forgot to talk about... So when the girl, like, wakes them up and is like, you have 15 minutes to vacate your room... How the hell did 2 girls get up, dress, put on their makeup, talk about the messages, and shower in 15 minutes?
Not possible.
I can't imagine.
Impossible already for one girl, but then you put them both in the same room. That's twice the time at least. Come on, that's girl physics.
But anyway, the messages. Caleb texts her and is like, so we need to split our relationship to a public and a private relationship. And she's like, whatever, dude. And he keeps texting her over and over. And he's getting more and more desperate.
Dude, I love that he's desperate. It's making my day every time. I'm like, oh man, he's so down bad. And then I'm just texting you guys like, Caleb's a whore. Caleb's a slut. Oh man. And Tory is not, I feel like Tory doesn't appreciate enough how badly he wants this, because she could make him do a lot more than she is doing. Like, she's being charitable. Tory is not taking advantage of the situation.
But I think that's what's driving him nuts, is because she doesn't even care enough to take advantage of.
Yeah.
That is so true.
That's true. That's true.
So she runs to the library. He catches her, picks her up, takes her to a study room, kisses her.
Doesn't she like tell him like, no, not today? Like because she's like, I need to fight back. And she's like, not today, Caleb. Like, I have to go to class.
Yeah, she's like, Orion says I should fight back.
Since when do you listen to Orion?
She's like, yeah, I have to go to class. And he's like, well, come to my room tonight then.
That's right.
Fat chance. Sorry, Caleb.
And I love that he invites her to his room, because usually it's the guy that goes to the girl's room. So I was like...
Is that the case?
Yeah, so they can leave.
In most books, it's the girl who gets to host.
But Caleb is so into her. Like,
He is.
He wants her in his space.
Multiple times.
Yeah.
Okay, that was not meant like that, actually.
On the floor, on the desk,
Actually,
all
not.
the spaces,
I
actually.
He invited her to stay overnight multiple times. But I can see where you think that.
Yeah. So she's like, if you get me to class on time, I'll think about it.
He said, I can do that.
And he does, with 1 minute to spare.
Yeah.
And so they're at fire class, and Darius actually stands up for her in front of the teacher.
Yeah, which is interesting.
I don't remember that.
He's like, why don't you just take your shirt off? What?
No, I said, why don't I remember that? Like, what?
It was, so she's having trouble since she's wearing that suit again. And
Oh, yeah.
the teacher, like, is disappointed in her. And Darius goes, she did a lot better in our one-on-one session.
Okay, yeah. And then he was telling her to take it off. He was like, they are supposed to go their own way anyway, so why are you following the rules?
Yeah, he's like, we don't ask for permission. We just do it.
Which is fair, because, I mean, like, why is she listening to the teacher? Just fucking do it. It'll make you feel better. But she also fights back against that, apparently. She's like, no, I'm going to keep this stupid
She
outfit
thinks
on.
that he's trying to get her in trouble by telling her that.
I don't think I even picked up on that.
She says it. She's like, he's just probably trying to get me in trouble. Anyway, they go off and practice on their own, and he bets her to make a motorcycle again. And if she manages to do it, then he's going to take her to do a race at his house.
Oh yeah, which she gets excited about, but she's also like, no, I'm gonna make the bike.
Yeah.
What do I get if I succeed?
And well, no,
I thought that was.
She said, if I win, I get to keep the bike. And
Yeah.
If he wins, she was like, I'll do the mods that you don't think you need. And he's like, well, I don't think I need them, so that's not much of a prize for me. And she's like, okay, anything you want, because it doesn't matter, you're not going to win.
That was bold.
I just have to say, as many times as they offer anything you want,
Yeah.
I'm surprised somebody hasn't asked for the world.
Yeah. It's like anything you want. Okay, whoa, back up.
There's a lot of things that they want.
I'm thinking more be in line with like sex for them.
Yeah, but also I think Darius is almost like getting to a point where he's thinking of her in ways that's not just sexual. So at this point, it might not be sex.
And on top of it, like they offer Tyler anything he wants as a favor later on. And I'm like,
Another wild thing to do.
you not understand what people could ask of you? These are
Yeah.
ruthless people. Like, look at what they've already done already.
It's not like in the Mercy Thompson series. Well, if you say that to a fae, you're like literally ruining your life. So at least
Oh my god.
at least it's not like that.
True.
But so she ends up making a bike, but they have to power share, and he's all like pressed up against her again because she's like, I need both my hands. And we have like a ghost Demi Moore moment.
And Caleb with his quit power fucking her.
Oh my god, I forgot.
He's so jealous.
I forgot he said that. Dude, Caleb has got it bad for her. But like, do you think Caleb actually likes her, or does he just really enjoy fucking
Well,
her?
we learn later that Caleb doesn't do exclusive, and Seth's like, he's trying.
He is.
So maybe he does.
Yeah.
All right. So she makes the bike. They have a date for Wednesday. Darcy and Caleb couldn't power share at all. And Darcy is nervous about her liaison session with Orion. And of course, this would be the one time that he's not only on time, but he's early.
Early looking good.
Yeah, in a nice suit. Usually he's in his grubby pitbull outfit.
That would work too. I don't know this man, but I do in my head. You know? He's so vivid in there.
And so she wants a new liaison, and he's like, no.
He's like, and I'm gonna deny that, actually.
And he doesn't drink. This is the first liaison session that he doesn't drink his bourbon.
Yeah, I wonder what has changed.
He's where he wants to be.
Maybe. Oh, nice. Christy hit the nail on that.
So Orion thinks they might be dragons. Bigger dragons than Darius.
Which I love. But, I didn't catch what the dragon name was. Did you catch it?
Is Minion dragon?
A what?
Ismenian.
Okay.
Is Minion.
Is Minion dragon.
And they are extinct. Another extinct order.
And that is also interesting that he thinks that that's what they are. And I assume that's because the color of their fire and the power that came out. And another question I was wondering, when Darcy was fighting in the fight at the end of the last book, she said something about she feels something unfurl like wings. Do other people see that, or is that just something she feels?
Just something she feels. The only thing that manifests during that fight visually is the fire.
Okay. So we know they probably have wings, obviously, and Darcy probably knows that, but not everyone else.
No, they have no idea. Like, even Washer was like, do you have any idea what order they might be? And he doesn't answer because he doesn't know. He has theories, but he's like, I don't really know.
So, since you've read the books, is there anybody that correctly guesses what they are before they come out?
No.
Okay.
Love that. Can't wait for them to surprise them. I assume it's going to be...
At the lunar eclipse, that's what I'm assuming. They're going to be
That's what I'm thinking too.
"Ta-da."
That's what I'm thinking too.
I mean, that card did say your answers will be revealed at the lunar eclipse.
Stop reading the cards. It says there's a card, and I'm like, skip. Like,
Oh my god. Because you're like, this is too vague. It's stupid.
All right, so they go on a walk, and Orion is like, let's test out that fire. And he asked her what she was feeling whenever it came out. And she's like, fear. But the memory she remembers is Orion in danger.
Right.
And so he's
Not
like,
herself in danger.
I can work with this. And he throws her into the air. And they have like this little play fight.
Yeah, they have a little wrestling fight, which is cute, but also reminds me of Caleb and Tory doing their little chase. So it's very reminiscent of that. It's like they really should not be doing this because, okay, it's veiled as maybe practice, but it really is just foreplay, if we're being honest.
And Orion is like, I know I said this, but what if I was wrong? Maybe if I
Orion.
want more.
Lance, can you get your shit together, please?
And Darcy's like, dude, this could ruin both your life and mine. And you were the one who was like, or what happens beneath the pool stays beneath the pool.
But they can't help it. They're like literally cosmically drawn together.
Are they officially?
I think so.
That seems like it's because isn't it supposed to be where they just can't stay away from each other?
That is my theory.
That is a sign of the Elysian mate, is that the stars will draw them together even beyond sense.
Throughout all of this, that is what it has been saying. I mean, even the horoscope she gets, the day that she goes and fucks Orion at the end of this part is just do what you gotta do, basically. Like, her little horoscope is like, don't think about it, do what you think is right. And
Follow
then she
your
goes and does it.
intuition.
Yeah, and that's literally the stars telling her, like, I know what you want to do. I know what you want to do. You can go do it.
Well, at least we know that she won't say no to her mate, will she? Brittany?
So Seth gets a flea dip.
Oh God, I'm scared.
There's a lot that may or may not happen.
He's so pathetic.
Seth.
Mhm.
Seth is pathetic, but in a way that I kind of enjoy.
I enjoy his misery. What I
Same.
don't enjoy is having the whole of werewolfness like trampled with this whole like, ooh, somebody touched me. I'm good. Like nuzzling. Like, what are you?
He's a dog.
He's a werewolf.
I like it. I think it's way more entertaining than Diego. You know what I mean?
Oh God, fucking Rock is more entertaining, but
I know you hate Seth, and that's so fair. I don't like Seth either, but I think it's entertaining.
well, I feel like the way she has written werewolves is sparkling them up like Stephanie Meyer did vampires. Like she wussified
Yeah,
them.
absolutely.
Yeah, they're more, from what we've seen so far of the werewolves, they are more cuddly puppies rather than vicious wolves.
Yeah.
Yes, so far as we can tell.
Yeah, and so Seth kind of finds out that his pack is abandoning him here.
Yeah, that flea thing really took a turn, huh?
Well, not only that, but they were like, Frank said you made Darcy part of the pack, and we
And they
don't like that.
hmm And now he has claims against his leadership, which is kind of insane
Yeah,
that
Maurice.
it went that far.
That didn't make sense. I mean, the way it's been up to now is that he is the ultimate authority. And so if he wanted to bring Darcy in, he'd bring her in. And now all of a sudden he's like, ah.
Well, it does say in the book that bringing in someone who is not their order is an insult to their way of life. And technically, he is still the alpha, and he can still be the alpha because nobody can beat him. But they're Fae, and they don't have to do what they're told unless they are forced.
It just seems like they want to challenge him because they're upset, but it's not going to go anywhere, is the way that it seems. But
Well, why doesn't he just eat one?
He could.
he might. I don't know. You're the one that called him a serial killer. He very well could.
But he has to either initiate her by her challenging him or pleasing him. He's like torn up over the fact that he hurt her because he feels all these protective instincts towards her now. And he doesn't really want to let her go either.
And he doesn't
Yeah.
actually want her to challenge him because he feels like she's going to lose.
Well, that goes along with, I think, the fact that he doesn't want to let her go. Because if she challenges him and she loses, he has to kick her out of the pack. And he likes being her alpha. Not that it means anything to her.
Oh Lord, those dynamics are really odd.
Yeah, he's getting a little obsessed.
Because he can't have what he wants, which is very Caleb-esque of him,
So
which I love.
the boys invite him to King's Hollow, say that they're gonna stay in tonight. And he's like, oh, thank God. Christy, you mentioned in one of the episodes that you didn't think that Seth would is actually, or even all the boys were not actually friends, that they would throw each other under the bus at any time that they want. After seeing the scene, do you think any different?
I think it would be a threshold that's harder to meet for them, but I do think there would be circumstances that if it really came down to their position, depending on who it was, Seth definitely, I think, would throw any of them under the bus. And then, I don't know for Darius, it would depend on the situation, but I think he'd be more likely to like protect.
What about Caleb?
Caleb, yeah, I think he probably would too. Max, no, I think he would sell him out in a heartbeat. But yeah, I do still think at this point.
I feel like I could see Caleb throwing them under the bus. If Tory really wanted something from him, I feel like he would do it. Brittany is so funny to read, man.
Okay, Seth shows up. He's checking out Darius.
Oh my
He's
God,
checking out Caleb. He's checking
Seth
out Max.
really needs to get laid.
He
Poor
really
guy.
does. Oh, and he brings up the Shimmering Springs incident last year, which I really want to read about.
Oh Lord, a Caleb Seth moment? Who would have thought?
Yeah. And Caleb's like, no, there was a girl there. Like,
Seth's
yeah, we
like,
had a threesome, but
not the whole time.
and Caleb comforts Seth about Ashanti, and they share their secrets with each other about Darcy being part of the pack. And Darius is really pissed off and really upset. Like, the whole group is really upset when Seth finally admits that he made Darcy part of the pack. They're like, you need to fix that.
Yeah. They're like, what, how the fuck did you do that?
Being a dumbass.
And I forget who says it, but they were like, if they do emerge as dragons, Darius, you could actually marry one.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
I
who
love
says that? I feel like it was Seth.
I think it's Seth.
It is Seth. It is Seth. It says that. You don't have to
And
marry
Darius-
your bucktooth cousin.
And Darius kind of gets this look on his face like, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah. And Caleb's like, I hope you're fucking kidding me.
Because he does not want that. Because it's his twin.
Mm-hmm.
And he tries to play it off as being his source, but he's got it bad.
Yeah. It's not just the source thing. Maybe it's both. But either way.
So I wonder what Lionel would say if Darius and Tory did get married, or he knew they had plans to get married, especially if she was some major order that could beat his ass to the ground.
I
Well,
don't see it going well.
yeah, I mean, even Darius admits here that if Lionel knew that they were going to emerge as dragons, he'd rather just kill them instead of letting Darius have babies with one.
So, okay, add that. Say they emerge as dragons and they power share, kind of like Tori and Darcy do. Can they become a more powerful force together?
Yes, but at the same time, it's unless you're in war, any official challenge has to be one-on-one. It can't be Tori and Darius.
But what if Lionel was a threat to them, like their marriage? Wouldn't that count as both?
It's like the twins are a threat to all four of the boys' twins, but at the end of the last book, it was Darius versus Tori and Seth versus Darcy. So even though all four of the boys were threatened, it was still one-on-one.
That's
I feel like
interesting.
we're rolling. Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just saying that's such a weird concept about the book.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say too. Totally agree with. Like, I feel like we're rolling on Twilight workings here because Faye, do what you want, fight back, blah blah blah. But we've got rules. Like, well, which fucking rules do you have to go?
I mean, if it's you do what you want unless you're forced to do otherwise. It's fight back, but fight back one-on-one. Otherwise, it's considered unfair.
It's just interesting.
I think it's stupid too. But again, let's even use Darius and Orion. So there's the Guardian bod. So if somebody attacks Darius, Orion could fight on his behalf one-on-one. But if Darius and Orion fought together, then whoever they're fighting could have as many people as they wanted to fight too. So it's like, if it's a group, it doesn't matter how many. And you can fight 2-on-1, 2-on-5. But like, it's like war. If there's a war, then it doesn't have to be 1-on-1.
So what you're telling me is it's not unfair-like to fight 2 against 1 initially. You're simply inviting them to invite more people.
It is considered socially unfair to fight 2-on-1 to begin with. If you pick on somebody in a fight, say you're fighting for a position, like the counselor position. If you fight 2-on-1, you didn't win that position officially because it has to be 1-on-1.
Because that was a challenge. But if it is not meant to be a challenge, then it's different.
But with that being the case, what they did to them at the end of book 1 would have invalidated their thrones.
It's not, well, they weren't trying to win their thrones there. They were just trying to make the twins look bad. And Caleb agrees that it was very unfair of them to do what they did. And like, the twins don't lose any points towards the throne because of what they did, because it wasn't.
Well, not the twins, the heirs.
Well, I'm saying,
lost
like,
their throne.
That whole situation was considered a loss for Tory. And her ranking doesn't go down because she lost that, because it wasn't 1-on-1. It doesn't make her beneath the heirs because they cheated in a way. She's still on their level.
Yeah.
Yes.
Next is Dragon Order Enhancement class. So the only in Order Enhancement class they don't attend is the vampires, because they all emerge at the Awakening.
Right. The vampires are more clearly vampires.
But this is probably the best Order Enhancement class they've ever been to.
Something just occurred to me. Okay,
What's that?
So vampires emerge early. But later Seth talks about he has like a heart-to-heart with Darcy and tells her that he knew he was a werewolf early too. So why did they put them in the werewolf classes when they also emerge early?
So the Order Enhancement classes aren't necessarily about learning your order. It's about being together.
I know, but I'm saying they should have known they weren't werewolves because
they all emerge at different times. Vampires always emerge at the Awakening. Werewolves, dragons, other beings, they emerge whenever.
For the heirs, though, they were done early.
Yeah, they were awakened at 15, yes.
Okay.
But I'm now with her at 15.
No, because he said
at
5 years old he was in that
that
cave.
he did the doggy camp.
The werewolves emerge as children. They don't have to, the Awakening doesn't have to.
That's what I'm
bring out
saying.
their
So
order.
why did they put Darcy and Tory in the werewolf order enhancement class
Right.
if they emerge as children?
Because Orion thinks that being in the mortal world has dampened their.
But they were born in Solaria. They
They
would
were,
emerge.
but they don't necessarily, like, they emerge early, but they don't emerge at birth. So
I think
like,
it's an error with the writing.
well, I mean, Dante from the Dark Phase series, he says that he emerged at like 16, and he's from a family of wolves. Some emerged in their teenage years, some emerged as children. So the dragons don't usually emerge until their teenage years too. Like, Xavier didn't emerge until he was 17.
I know. I'm just specifically talking about the werewolves. But yeah.
It depends. So there's also life events that can cause you to emerge early too. Except for the vampires, for some reason. They always emerge at the Awakening.
But wait. I thought Caleb was emerged early.
When his powers were awakened. So
They
yeah,
they said
he
they
would have
did his
been
awakening earlier, I think.
Yeah.
Like they specifically said that. As
So the
opposed
awakening
to,
is not book 1 when they hit Zodiac. Okay.
No, the
It's just the name
Awakening
of the book.
is
Got it.
a ritual that awakens their powers. So Professor Zenith, who was standing there, out there going, speaking to the stars, making the spells to awaken their powers, they don't have to do that at 18. They could do it whenever, which makes you think, like, why at 18? I don't understand that part. That part doesn't make sense to me, except for the fact that it makes sense for why they're in school at 18.
It's because they can't, it's like their Hogwarts. They have to wait till they're 11 and then they get their letter. And because they wanted this to be sexy, they had to wait till they were 18 instead of 11, you know? So, just
Yeah.
saying.
This is not the Catholic Church.
All right, so this is the best order enhancement class that they've ever experienced. There's only 6 dragons in this whole school, 5 of which are guys.
Sad.
Yeah. And Darius is technically the professor of it.
Which is stupid. Fucking stupid. Y'all couldn't find any other dragons?
We were talking about names that were spot on. The Pegasus Order Enhancement class professor is Professor Clipper, and they call him Professor Clipclop.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Yeah.
So goofy.
Do professors have to be renamed once they're hired to
I would
match?
think so, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of sad there's no girl dragons besides Angelica.
Yeah. And they kind of look at the twins like, oh, new meat, new DNA to...
Oh my god, this is like Arkansas.
And I feel like they don't even learn anything in the class. He's just like,
Yeah, those classes aren't necessarily about learning. It's just like if I have questions about my order, I can talk to people who are like me.
yeah.
Like build a community.
Yeah, so they're basically a waste of time. I mean, you see it in this class where the dragons shift and they go follow Angelica off and Darius goes his own way.
So not like the Pegasus that practice their flying and twirling and glittering.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, the Pegasus are more herd-like. They like being with each other, whereas the dragons are more like the vampires and they want to be alone.
They're very solitary.
And they hoard their treasure from each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like an only child introvert.
You're like, I would emerge as a dragon.
Like a shrimp dragon.
So they try to bring out their fire, which is a failure, and all the dragons fly off. Darius, of course, has to blow fire over the girls.
Of course.
One last fuck you as he's leaving. And Max shows up, making Darcy have to pee.
And she runs off. She's like, I gotta go.
Yeah, he's like, I could have made her pee herself, but I was being nice.
Yeah, okay, dude.
This whole part didn't make sense.
Agreed.
Like you do a favor and now I know you won't tell my secret. Does it work that way?
No.
Yeah, I also thought that was fucking stupid. I was like, what tells you that she's gonna consider this even?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially, it's Tori.
And even if she did, it doesn't mean she still couldn't use it later on.
Yeah, Tori does whatever the fuck she wants also. Like, Max is stupid.
It felt like, okay, we haven't seen enough of Max, so we've got to have a Max scene. You know?
Yeah.
Here we go.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
But he teaches her something kind of important, at least.
Yeah, he does. I will say this. He makes up a smidgen for trying to drown her by teaching her a skill that will make it so she can never drown again.
Which is actually good.
Yes, especially with the water trial coming up.
Yeah, but doesn't he unintentionally set it up to where the nightmare that she has shifts to the current, like, because it made it sound like her original nightmare was like in the car when she was in there.
Yeah.
But now because she's learned not to be afraid of that, because she doesn't worry about drowning anymore, now it's shifted to the icy, like Darius, like that he's the monster behind her current nightmare.
The way I read it was that originally her nightmare was just going in and not being able to get out of the car. And then now, since the pool, she's had a new nightmare that is she gets out of the car and now it's frozen over. And that has nothing to do with Max and everything to do with what happened to her at the pool. Nothing to do with Max specifically or this incident.
Okay, because I thought he was responsible for her in her nightmare being able to get out of the car to save herself.
Well, at least that was my take, was that since the pool, it's changed.
Okay.
Yeah, I think she kind of says that later.
Okay.
Also, Max offers to let her into his head again, and all I can think is like, how could you trust it? He can push emotions onto anybody. Of course he can fake honesty.
True. True.
So he teaches her this magic and she puts her head under the water and it works. And when she comes back out, Max is just gone and he messages her, so we're even now. But
Which is weird. Why did you leave, weirdo?
exactly, like
what?
okay.
I just don't understand that man.
Tori ends this chapter with, so my luck may finally be changing, and I just want to slap her for that. Like, as a book character, you never ever think about the future. You never say, my luck is changing. You never say, everything is amazing. I'm so happy. You just don't do that.
It's almost as if she became like the introductory character of a Supernatural episode, like literally setting her up for her death. Like, oh, so you want bad things to happen is what you're telling me.
Yeah. All right. Next is Earth Elemental class. And on the way, some seniors are pulling some Hell Week pranks. And Tyler steps in to save them.
Dude, Tyler is becoming one of my favorite characters quickly.
He is. I like Tyler.
He's so funny.
I'm glad he didn't die in the first few from hashtags.
Yeah, he starts like stripping and he's like, I'll carry you. And they're like, okay.
Let me turn my back on you.
Like, as long as I don't have to look. But they do actually, at some point, they're like, well, he's not bad looking.
Yeah.
Which is really funny because I don't remember his description up until this point being
Frosted tips.
Frosted tips.
yeah, the frosted tips is killing me.
I remember that from because the boy band thing. Do they like boy bands? Because they mention them quite a bit. And
I
then the
don't
song,
know.
God damn, from fucking Seth and Caleb. Ever since I've had that dumbass song in my head.
Oh my gosh. I thought it was kind of funny that they brought that up actually.
I want it that way.
It's like, okay, the writers are
And I love
Cut
that
off.
they do it.
I love that they do it together.
honestly, I didn't think that scene was that funny. I thought it was kind of weird and cringy. But
It is cringy.
yeah. Anyway, back to Tyler's frosted tips.
Welcome to the gutter.
Oh, that sounds awful. I really cannot imagine.
Just a tip.
Oh, he just sounds like such a weird looking guy.
Oh, I think I'm picturing who is it from the Backstreet Boys?
The one
is it
whose brother
In-
died.
Or I think it's maybe NSYNC, the one that has the frosted tips.
Yeah, I think you're thinking
Lance
of NSYNC.
Bass.
Lance, maybe.
Oh, another
Interesting,
Lance.
but there is a Lance. I'm sensing a pattern from the authors here. I'm sensing there might be a boy band fan in the authors.
Yeah.
I can see that.
So Tyler gets them to Earth class safely, and Tyler asks for a favor.
He likes Sophia.
And the girls agree to talk him up.
Not
Which
like why.
surprised me at first, but then I was like, okay.
What do you mean, why?
I love the fact that I think it's Tori that was like, Diego hasn't stepped up to the plate.
Yeah, yeah,
Too bad for him. Yeah.
yeah,
Which is true. Like, she can't just wait around for him to get his head out of his ass.
yeah.
I feel like that the girls, Tori and Darcy, are starting to get to where you were or are, Lily, where you don't trust Diego. I think they're starting to kind of.
They're maybe not trusting, but more like they're just tired of his bullshit a little bit.
Darcy is less feeling that way. Tori is. And Darcy does have this like guilty moment where she's like, oh, I should know because now he's upset, but also you should have stepped up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they agree to help him. And Darcy's also thinking maybe some competition will make Diego step up.
Yeah.
And then Seth wants a word.
Yeah. Seth kind of calls her to the side, right?
And after he and Caleb do his little boy band routine, and Caleb picks Tori up and rushes her off so that Seth could have private word.
Is this the part where he like begs her and he's like, just 1 minute? And she's like, literally 1 minute. You get 1 minute to talk to me.
Yeah, and then he's talking about something else, and she's like, 30 seconds are gone.
What a dumbass.
And he gives her collateral to ensure his good behavior if she meets him after dinner.
And at first she declines.
I was just gonna say, how frustrating was it that it took her forever to watch the fucking video?
Oh, I was surprised she waited so long. She waited till like she was back in her room.
Yeah, like right before she was supposed to meet with him.
It was after, wasn't it?
Well, he showed up at her door.
And she closes it on him.
And he's like, have you watched it yet?
And she's like, no, closes the door. Hold on. And then she watches the video and he can like hear her like laughing through the door.
She's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And then she doesn't even watch it to the end.
Please tell me, somehow, some way, they saved that video.
See, that's what really, the whole time I was listening to that, I was like, don't they know what a screenshot is?
Yeah, like
And she
just
forwarded
screen
it.
record it.
And she forwarded it. Like, does that mean it didn't get deleted?
That it doesn't make a lot of sense realistically, but then I don't know, maybe the authors didn't want to have to work it into the plot. I don't know. They just needed a reason for Darcy to let Seth have what he wanted without giving up her integrity in a way.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she still can't trust him, and they needed a reason for her to trust him. And he kisses her on the forehead before he darts away.
That's so cute, you murderer. Serial killer. That's adorable. Please get away from me.
Hand to the face. No.
Can you imagine just and like pushing
No.
him back?
I wonder if the writers regretted taking him as far as they did in the first couple books. Are we in book 3?
We're in book
right?
3.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, because it's so hard to like him because of that terrible betrayal in book 1.
And even in book 2, just how he acts.
Yeah, he's
Like
an asshole.
there's nothing redeeming like they did for the others. I wonder if they regretted it and this is their attempt to try to rein it in.
That just reminded me, Brittany, why are you making a face?
She knows
Because
something.
he does some things that may be worse next book.
What?
Apparently they did not regret.
What? As if we couldn't already hate him enough.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh, but me calling him an asshole reminded me when I was listening to the book the other day, there's a moment where Darcy and Tory are talking about Tory's like relationship with Caleb. Tory says something along the lines of, "Ugh, why does he have to be such an asshole? He's so hot." And
Yes.
Darcy's like, "Well, if he wasn't an asshole, you wouldn't like him."
Uh-huh.
And I have never related so much.
Wasn't Tori like, that's fair?
Yeah, she was like, "Yeah, you're right." And I was like, I get that.
She even tells Caleb in the library, I have a weakness for assholes.
Literally. It's a bad trait.
Oh,
I
no,
definitely
not literally.
understand her. No, that's Caleb with Pegasus assholes. I love that even we bully Caleb. Oh man.
So next they're in the orb and they talk to Sophia about Tyler, and Diego's looking a little murderous. But he
You know
still
what? I
doesn't
wish he
step up.
was, because that would be interesting.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Tyler comes over after Geraldine's like, are you somebody's crushing on you, Sophia?
Oh, yeah.
So cute.
And the whole Pegasus table like looks over.
And she's like blushing. And Diego's like, I don't trust him. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't trust that guy.
Yeah.
Chica.
Chica. I don't trust him, Chica.
Diego, you don't trust anybody.
Literally.
Every time they want to do something. No, don't do it. I trust.
It's like, what do you trust? Are you even interesting at all?
No, because then he gets him in trouble over and over. Like he opens his mouth, he starts shit, and then it's like, help me. Just once,
Yeah.
I would love for him to utter the words, I've got this. Does he?
So Tyler approaches the table and asks Sophia out to the fair on Sunday.
And she agrees.
And then kisses her and returns to his table. All these little pets.
And I was like, oh, this is my new favorite pairing.
She's already
So
got it
cute.
in farther with Tyler than she ever has with Diego.
That is so true.
Yeah, exactly.
And they've shared a kiss, sort of.
Sort of.
But yeah, there's a fair on Sunday. And Tyler and Sophia, that's your new favorite?
Right now. Mhm,
Right now.
mhm. Yeah, I mean, Lance, still a big contender, but Tyler is really fun.
Tyler is fun.
Anyways.
So Darcy heads back to Air Tower. We already talked about this a little bit. She watches the video and then they go for a run and have a little heart-to-heart talk. What did y'all think of it? His little memory that he shared.
I thought that was bizarre. The story about him in the cave. What did you think, Christy?
Felt like a lot of buildup for just staying in the cave for a few days.
At 5 years old with no food or water or shelter. Well, I mean, he had the shelter, but there was a blizzard.
I mean, I
He
get
could've
that. It was
died.
hard. And it's really difficult for me not to sympathize with an animal. He's a puppy at that point.
Oh my gosh.
But knowing it's Seth, like,
He was 5.
But still, okay, if they're going to look for some sense of being able to survive, I don't know. I would think if you were going to drop someone off, you'd expect for them to explore do something. The fact that he just sat in the cave, like literally the spot his dropped off.
Well, like, I don't know. He was 5. He probably looked around, but like, probably was really scared.
We got snowed in. He couldn't
Yeah.
get out. So he was literally stuck in the cave drinking water.
Yeah, but I don't know. I feel bad for little baby Seth.
Yeah, this is a tradition that most werewolf families have decided not to do anymore because it is too ruthless. And yet Seth's family still does it. Kind of tells you a little bit about his family.
It doesn't surprise me that they're fucking wackos.
I
She does
skipped
hug him and he feels better.
Yeah.
Didn't she do
Which
it
is
though
like-
just to initiate to please him? Like it wasn't so much
She
of
wasn't
like
thinking that. She said she felt drawn to hug him, and he holds on too long, and she was like, Seth,
And he
me."
lets go,
Yeah.
but then that
then-
was enough.
Yeah, we skipped this part,
What part?
and I have to talk about it.
Oh, what part?
Before they go on their walk, she gets some messages from Orion where he's like, "You didn't answer my message."
She left him on red.
And, then he's like, "Blue or green?" And she was like, "Blue doesn't have a meaning for me anymore." And he says that in Solaria, blue means royal. But to me, blue means you. And my heart just like squeezes at that. Oh.
Lance, stop being a sap. He's so cute.
does that also mean he's claiming her as royal? Sort of.
It's interesting that he says that, right?
Yeah. And if you remember that when they first met Lionel, he was wearing that dark blue suit. He thinks he's royal too.
Oh, yeah.
But he's like, blue means you like me.
I knew that was gonna result in something later, and then it did. It did.
Well, I know we don't have the end, like we don't know what actually happens with Lionel, but I truly hope that his demise is horribly embarrassing. Like not killed in battle, not, I
Wait, what do you mean?
like I want it to be humiliating, like drowning in a toilet bowl or something.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen.
I don't want him to die in battle. I don't want
Give
him
him
to have
a
that medal.
fatal wet willy.
I will say this. Lionel is one of those people who is perfectly fine letting other people fight for him and die for him without actually risking himself. So
Doesn't shock me.
I would be surprised if he died in battle.
But you don't know how he dies.
But I don't know how.
Okay.
I haven't read the last book.
Yeah. Are you gonna wait until we're all at the end and read it with us?
Yeah.
Really? Are you sure?
Yeah.
Oh
You
my
read it in
god,
secret?
yay! Finally, Brittany will not know the ending. I thought it was crazy, not to jump back to this like too quick, but I thought it was kind of insane that Seth says that the cubs are not named until after they've done that initiation.
Yeah,
week.
because so many of them die.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
which
that's
is
like
really
what
crazy.
he was 5 years old. So for 5 years, you're not.
Yeah,
gonna
they don't have a
name?
name for him until after that. That's
you number
insane.
them?
Just call him Pup Cub. I
Yeah,
don't know.
well, you got like 20.
Well,
He's
they
the
didn't.
oldest of his family. He's the oldest kid.
But surely, if you want one to do something, like
I
Hotel
don't know. They probably did
Transylvania,
have numbers.
Boy, come here. Number one.
there's like 30 boys.
Number one, come here.
No, don't do number one on the rug.
And then she kind of like, she leaves him there after they're talking, and she kind of compares him to his parents and how like cruel he is, and that literally leaves him stunned. I was really glad that that happened because he obviously was like not expecting that, and it hit him different.
Maybe it'll make him start to rethink.
Yeah.
You told us that
Maybe.
was going to happen.
Although apparently he's gonna do some terrible shit, so we'll
I
see.
mean, he's a very slow learner. Maybe he just needs some time.
He's a slow learner.
Now, this is not, did I miss it? Or, and this may happen either later in the book or later somewhere else, but as of the end of the reading for what we're doing today, she is still in the pack, right? Like she doesn't get kicked out or whatever.
She's still in the
Yeah.
pack.
Yeah.
And so his wolf pack won't associate with him until she's out. She's officially initiated.
Okay.
So, at the same time that Darcy and Seth are having their little heart to heart, Orion and Darius are leaving their side training.
Mm-hmm.
And Darius is like feeling ill because he skipped dinner, and Orion kind of yells at him for it, and he's like, go get you some food, but if you get caught, I'm disowning you. I'm not covering. And he also talks about Xavier a little bit here. Xavier's been spying for him, tell him that Lionel's out, and he calls him the fucking cutest Pegasus he'd ever seen.
I thought that was funny.
That was cute.
I do have to hand it to Orion here. He basically kind of says to Darius, like, you can't just let your brother
Suffer.
live like that. You gotta do something about it.
What do you think, though? Because this is where Darius says something about the father being overheard talking about fixing Xavier.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. Xavier does mention that Lionel says that he's found a way to fix him.
Which is concerning.
Yeah. I know what's going to happen, so I can't really. But what do y'all think?
I don't know. I'm scared. I think he's gonna turn him into a nymph.
Turn him into a nymph?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I
whatever
don't
he
know.
did with
What's he gonna do?
Orion's sister, maybe do the same thing. Use
Maybe.
Xavier instead.
Yeah.
But she
Which
died.
could kill him. Mm-hmm.
He doesn't care if Xavier dies.
Oh, I don't think Lionel cares. I just, right now, his wife has it set up that if Xavier or she dies, the press gets told that Xavier's Pegasus, and he doesn't want that out.
I don't know. I mean, unless, because you can't change order forms, can you, Brittany?
No, you cannot.
Okay.
At least nobody's ever done it in the past.
I don't like that addendum. I don't trust you.
Don't trust me.
Sometimes. Sometimes, yeah.
Y'all have any thoughts though on it?
I really have no idea because I have no idea how I would know. So, no.
You don't have any guesses.
All right.
I gave you my guess. You thought it was ridiculous. So, move on.
I actually agree with you.
Thank you, Christy.
And Lance does say that the power over Xavier is keeping the knowledge hidden, and they should just put it out there.
Yeah.
And Xavier's a little scared for his mom if they do that.
I think he's also probably scared for himself.
Yeah, I mean,
Or
living with
Xavier.
Lionel, I would be scared too.
Because Lionel is, I know he gets people to do his dirty work, but he is an exceptionally powerful dragon, right?
Yes, he's the currently largest dragon and most powerful of his order form. And he is of all the Fae, with the exception of the twins, he is equally powerful as the other three counselors. So they're all equal. They cannot best each other at this moment. And that's why there's no official king or queen, because they're all equal, and that's why they have to share it. The heirs themselves are also equal in power, which is why they also plan to share the throne.
How do they measure that shit?
There are numbers, but I'm not 100% sure.
How is Max as powerful as Darius?
We just haven't seen it.
Yeah, and it's more about their elemental powers than their order gifts. Because, like,
Okay.
Seth turns into a big wolf and he has sharp teeth, but he doesn't have, like, emotional manipulation the way that Max does. Or Caleb has strength and speed, and Darius has flight, and fire. So they all have different order gifts.
Okay.
So Darius goes to the orb to grab some food, runs into Washer, who tries to blackmail him into giving him sexy time memories.
Which is wild.
Yeah, I was like, dude, you're playing with fire there.
Yeah.
And Darius grabs some food, but then notices there's a glamour in place and he breaks it. And Tori, Diego, and Sophia are crashed.
Okay, Tori being fucked up is my favorite part of the book by far. However, did Diego spike her drink?
I was waiting for that.
Did he spike her drink? Because again, we have another character that's like, I can handle my drink. I knew I could handle my drink. I can't believe that I was that drunk. And how could I have gotten that drunk? And then all of a sudden, like, I don't understand what happened.
She does mention that when she thinks about it the next day, she's like, I went from tipsy to blackout drunk.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
Seriously.
But I thought she said that she also drank Darcy's share of shots.
She guesses because she can't really remember. So she's like, I must have done it, but that's not usually me.
That's suspicious. And Diego was there. I don't have a good reason to say that he would have done that. Although Sophia was there again. Was he aiming for Sophia? I don't know. It's just weird. Because at first it was like odd. And like we didn't have a reason to assume that, but it was just weird. Now it's happened again. If this comes to nothing ultimately, and there's nothing that has been going on with the drinks being spiked, I'm gonna be really fucking confused because I don't understand what's going on with these characters drinking and then not knowing how they've gotten blackout drunk all of a sudden.
Yeah. It's a school night too. So Tori's like, I wouldn't have done that. And then she's like in the middle of a strip show and Darius is trying his best not to look and she passes out and starts shooting out magic everywhere. And Darius has to help her. And once he gets through her magic and is able to pick her up, Diego's like, we got this. You can give her over.
Which is weird.
Be on your way.
Okay, she's passed out now. I'll take her.
Darius is like looking at his arms like, no, you ain't got
he's
this.
like, no, I don't think that's happening. And I think it's kind of beautiful that he kind of pushes her to use her earth magic and she makes all those flowers. That was like kind of cringy, but kind of cute.
Yeah, I mean, it's better than the ice.
Yeah. And she's so funny when she's drunk.
And I like that Sophia follows him.
Oh, yeah.
I think
Yeah.
Diego does too, but he's just weird.
Once they get to Ignis' house, Diego runs for Darcy. And then Sophia follows him all the way up to his room and is like, what the fuck are you doing, dude? She wouldn't
Because
want
that's
that.
a good friend. That's a
Yeah.
good friend there. That's what you should do if it's your friend.
Yeah. And Darius is like, I have to sleep with her because I need to control her magic. Yeah, that's
I'm
it.
the only one that can handle her power. What are you gonna do about it? And Sophia's like, okay, dude, okay. If you say so, but you better not fucking hurt her.
And when he brings up Xavier, that she's finally like, oh, so maybe you do care about people. And you're-
Xavier or Philip?
Oh, yeah.
Philip.
Darius is like, I don't even know where that name came from.
In the audiobook, I don't know if you got this from the ebook part, but in the audiobook, Sophia says Philip. Like she doesn't believe that's clearly the person's name. She's kind of like, okay, Philip.
Sure.
Yeah, because it sounds like nobody in Solaria is named Philip.
She's like, I'll send you my number and Philip and message me anytime.
Exactly.
And then he's like, he's having a hard time dealing with the shame. She's like,
I mean,
finish that sentence. Oh man. So Darius takes her into his room. She strips out of her clothes, straddles him, steals his shirt.
She's like, then give me yours.
Oh, no. But first, he's like, I can't remember what he says. He's like, you can't sleep like that. She's like, oh, and then takes
Yeah.
off her shirt.
She's wearing a gold bra and panty set. Like,
And he's like, this is my dream.
yeah, his wet dream.
And then he's like, okay, you can't sleep like that either. And she's like, well, then give me your shirt. And then she like climbs on top of him and just like, give it to me.
He's like, I don't think taking my clothes off is the answer here.
Well, he tells her to put her he's like, put your clothes back on, not off.
Oh, and he was gonna sleep in the chair, but she's like, stay with me.
Oh, I love how at first she was like, Darcy, let me do it myself. Like, she's just so, what's the word?
Trashed?
Ornery. Well, trash, but
Yeah.
she's just like, she's so difficult in a funny way.
Yeah. And then when she's falling asleep, do you want to hear a secret? And he's like, sure. I have to puke.
But she makes it to the bathroom.
She does. And she uses a toothbrush.
And I
like
love
an
that
animal.
you can see him. In my mind, I could see him getting up, walking to the bathroom, just kind of leaning against the doorframe and watching her puke her guts out, and kind of laughing to himself. That's good stuff.
Yeah, and then she's like, you're unbelievable. And he's like, why? She's like, you have a giant ass jacuzzi. That's why.
Oh my god.
And he's like, she's such a smart ass, but I love that about her.
If he wasn't an asshole, I wouldn't like him. It's giving that energy.
Yeah. He loves that she talks back to him.
So like it's a little bit of the same for him. He likes her because she's an ass to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a
Well,
challenge.
He says it to Sophia where he was like, you've impressed me for standing up to me. So,
Yeah.
All right, next day, Tori has a hangover. She's freaking out because she's in Darius's room. Can't remember if they had slept together, what happened.
She wakes up
she
trying to take his pants off.
And she also is like thinking it's a dream, and then it turns out to be Darius, and she's like frozen and won't actually move, and I love it. Yeah, you continue to lay on him. That's fine.
She's like, why am I still here? We're talking and it's normal and I kind of like it.
And she leaves her clothes behind and runs to her room.
Can you you know what though? I was gonna say that's crazy, but also she's been naked in this house before, so
That's true. That's
I
very
guess
true.
in some ways, like what, and everyone already thinks she's a slut, so she's like, what do I really have to lose?
Yeah.
Although she leaves her shoes and she gets really upset about that, and then he like politely folds her clothes and brings her shoes back to her. And she gets angry about it. She's like, ugh, this
Why does he
fucker.
have to be nice?
Yeah.
But I love that she's like, we haven't made moves against the air since the nymph attack. That's going to change today.
Too much niceness.
Yeah. So she shoves a purple glittering Pegasus vibrator in the cushion, the red couch, and puts a whip that they've had Caleb's name put on.
Again, the whip was not touched on enough. Like,
It
they
wasn't.
talked about the vibrator, but it has Caleb's name on it. They needed to talk about that whip, and it just gets passed over.
Yeah. And Max is the one that pulls it out of and Geraldine comes by and is like, you're not bringing that into this place where we eat our food, are you?
And then she's the one that says that you already had you already had a griffin shit on you. What now?
Not only that, but paid a griffin to
Yeah.
shit on his chest.
Which is not where I thought that would go, but that is insanity. That
At
is
first I thought I
insanity.
missed something. I was like,
No.
No.
She just
She
made that up
just-
on the spot.
She just made it up on the spot. Yeah, it's great.
Go, Jerry.
Geraldine was brilliant.
Team Jerry.
Max is like, this isn't mine. And he throws it across the room and it turns on. Oh, man.
I think that's a toothbrush. Vibrator.
Oh man. And then another girl is like, you didn't have to pay someone, I would do it for free.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I'd shit on you for free. It's fine. You don't have to pay somebody to that.
That is so insane.
Cardinal Magic is sex ed today, and Darcy is so embarrassed. She's like, I can't handle this.
He hands out peaches, he hands out bananas. He's like, all right, kids, we're learning about contraception.
Yeah, with the lunar eclipse coming up, it's supposed to fuel their more carnal desires. So he's like, y'all don't want kids. Y'all better learn this. And of course, Kylie's like, I guess this glitter destroys werewolf sperm. My cousin told me.
And Orion's like, no, it doesn't.
Yeah, your cousin's a moron.
And I love how he's yelling at Tori because he knows she has a hangover. That was my favorite part of the scene.
She's like, oh, you have a hangover in my class? We'll fix that.
That's so funny. Oh, man.
And then they take over by Washer.
Oh, well, first there's, like, he tells them boys have to face Mars, girls have to face Venus, and if both parties aren't covered, then it's not 100% effective. I love that it's 100% effective. Why can't we have something that's 100% effective?
But you know what? I feel like it's one of those situations where it's rare that you achieve the 100% effective thing because it depends on a lot of things. It depends on whether or not you're covered. It depends on how good your spell is. It depends on if you knew how to do it correctly. I still feel like they have a high likelihood of not having 100% coverage. Just saying.
And Orion's like, well, you should at least cover yourself, even if your partner isn't, because it protects you from all the STIs.
Those, yes. What kind of crabs?
Well, it's phamidia,
Manticrabs.
centiphalus, grifferia, and manticrab.
Fancy crabs. Yes.
The pineapple is just for his lunch. He's not a swinger either.
Okay,
Oh my God.
so when I was first reading this, I think this was around the time when I heard what upside down pineapple was,
Oh,
and I was
yeah.
like, "Excuse me."
Let Francesca have that. She can have it. It's not for him.
She can have the pineapple. It's fine.
Yeah. Oh, but also that could also be a reference to the fact that do you guys know about eating pineapple or?
No, tell me.
Okay. Oh God. If you eat pineapple, you have to eat quite a lot of it, but if you eat a lot of pineapple or drink a lot of pineapple juice, then you taste better.
Yeah, I think I did hear that.
So it could also be a reference to that. He does have sex later. So
Yeah.
Lessons by Lily.
yes. The youth these days, I know. Crazy. But anyways,
Franny knocks on the door.
Franny.
Yeah.
She doesn't deserve the name Fran because Fran Drescher is an amazing person. The nanny, the show.
She hates Fran, too. That's what Darcy calls her.
I'm glad she calls her that then.
But yeah, Franny comes in, demands his memories yet again, and says, oh, I got Washer to look over your class. And I just want to be like, y'all talked earlier about how much you hated Washer as student.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to subject these kids to him and take Orion away? What a bitch.
Yeah.
It's like, why is it always during class time? Also, you don't have any other time to speak to him. You didn't have any trouble coming to his house.
Yeah. And Washer's like, it's okay, I prepared.
Oh, God.
He brings in all his sex toys and makes the students pass them around.
Which is, okay, that's the part that is really just egregious. Like, that's
Boundaries.
gross. If your fucking professor came in and did that, I don't care if this is a sex ed class or not. That is taking it to another level.
Yeah, and Kylie's like, no, we just need to learn the spell and we were done. We were done. Like,
That's relatable.
The one and only time you're like, yeah, Kylie, yeah.
That's
And
right.
then he uses the opportunity to like get them to talk, which is even worse.
Yeah, he's like,
But he forces them to.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, you must be comfortable with your sexual preferences, so let's talk about them. So he starts with Tori, forces her to talk about the game, and then he tries for Darcy, and Darcy fights him off. Thank God. Though if you notice, she said that she felt a burning sensation when she fought him off.
I do not recall that.
Griffin Rhea.
Yeah, she was like, I don't remember the exact words, but it was like a burning rolled through her when she fought off the siren manipulation. And then he moves on to Kylie, who admits that Seth likes it doggy style. Who could have
That
seen
doesn't
that
shock me.
coming?
And she likes it too.
She likes to howl.
She likes
and
that he howls.
She likes that he makes her howl and that he howls back. And I'm
That-
like, you're
Imagine
a
how
Medusa.
weird that is. Imagine that.
Imagine his poor neighbors.
How has he not accidentally inducted her?
Right?
Because that's the weird thing. She's not a werewolf, and you're not supposed to be able to induct a non-werewolf.
Well, it makes you wonder because he likes Darcy. He doesn't really like Kylie.
Like when he was talking to Caleb at King's Hollow, Caleb literally was like, "Dude, you have a girlfriend if you need affection," and he's like, "Oh, that's right, I do."
Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Totally forgot about her.
But I don't think he likes Darcy. I think he covets Darcy. I think if he liked her, he wouldn't be able to do the horrible things to her. But I think she's like a prize, a challenge.
I think he likes her, but he's fucked up. I think, but I do agree that she is a challenge, and that is a huge factor in it.
Yeah.
Elijah is next, and Washer forces him to admit what he and his boyfriend like.
Oh my god. This is the part that I was like, and we're gonna talk about him again. I was sitting on the couch laughing my ass off as I heard this. I was like, no fucking way. No fucking way. He just had to admit this out loud to the fucking class. Oh my god. I would die. I would disintegrate into small pieces and die.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh, and I guess Tyler never got to shoot off his message
Wait,
because he
what?
gets interrupted.
He probably did
Oh, yeah.
later.
I wanted that hashtag. Okay, missed it. All right.
But yeah, Elijah is forced to tell them he dresses up like Darius and has to call his boyfriend Prince Caleb.
Oh, I want to shrivel up and die. Oh, it's so awful. Oh my god. It just makes my whole face go, ah! Sorry.
And then he makes Tyler admit that he likes Sophia and wants to make her feel good.
And she reciprocates.
And gloves. She like blurts out, "Yes, I want that too."
Oh my
because
God.
he was headed for her.
Oh, she says it before he gets to her?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
She blurts it out so that he doesn't force her.
Oh, okay.
And then
Good for her.
Washer goes for the spell, and he takes the banana and like holds it at his crotch. And that's when Orion comes in, and he sees like all his students are traumatized. He's like, "Get the fuck out!
Oh my god.
Take your sex toys and go."
He said, "Get out, you fucking creep." Oh my goodness. And then we proceed to the peaches.
Yeah, he teaches them the spell, and they try it out. And first of all, Tory ate hers.
Oh, that made me laugh so hard.
Yeah. And isn't she laughing when she like tells her? Like I feel like she
Yeah.
thought it was hilarious.
And so she gets another one from her, and of course that makes Orion watch Darcy perform it, and she accidentally shoots her peach off, and it makes it explode against the blackboard.
And he's like, we need to get this right.
Yeah.
It's very important.
Absolutely. And Darcy's like, "Well, it doesn't matter because I'm not going to have sex anytime soon anyway."
She's like, if you could just look away, I'll get it right.
So after class, Lance is like, "Miss Vega, I need you to stay behind and help clean up." And she's like pretending innocence, cleaning up, and he's like, "Excuse me, don't ignore me. You didn't answer my message."
And she's like, you're very persistent.
Is that your new motto? They have this moment where they're like super close, and Darcy's like got her hands all over him, and she like Tori is like, "Why am I not letting go?" And fucking Nova comes in.
What a shame.
Yeah, she's such a cock blocker.
And how she's so oblivious about it too. Isn't Darcy still on the desk whenever she comes in? It's like,
When she
isn't
knocks,
that
and then
obvious?
as soon as she knocks, she like jumps off and
Okay.
pretends to be cleaning again.
I see.
And Nova doesn't even notice her until Orion's like, "Yeah, Miss Vega's done now."
Mm-hmm.
So Geraldine offers Tori a hangover remedy, which includes slugs for some reason.
Ew. Ew.
Sophia offers to go get her food, and Caleb shows up, and of course Diego is like, ugh, and he was like, I want to play a game with you. And of course, now that Diego knows, he's like,
oh no. Oh god.
he runs off and doesn't return until Caleb's gone.
And then Caleb asks why he's so upset, and Tori explains that, well, now
I have a
everyone
hangover.
has. Oh, well, I was gonna say everyone's heard about her and Caleb's little game now because of Washer.
Oh, yeah. She says that so that Caleb won't get mad at him.
Yeah.
And she's like, I can't play today. I have a hangover. And he heals it. Which makes me think, like, when Darius found her inebriated, I know for a fact that they can heal themselves to get rid of the inebriation. Why didn't he do it then?
Darius could have healed her.
Now, that's a good question. I think we know why.
Caleb does it.
Do you think that was more intention from the character or author, like, needed the story to have some?
I think the author needed it. I don't understand why Darius didn't think of it unless the author needed it.
Yeah.
Because he offers it for various characters in the future.
Yeah, it was just a convenient
He even heals himself.
scenario. That's lame.
Damn, I need that power.
You know, right? So Caleb heals her and runs off to Washer to fix the issue of him going into Tori's brain.
I wanted to see that scene.
That would be nice.
I feel like we missed a lot of scenes that would be really good.
Yeah, especially since Washer's like, when she shows up to class late, he's like, it's fine, whatever Mr. Altair needs.
It's all good. Everything's fine.
Yeah, whatever Mr. Altair needs, it's fine. But this is the first time that Caleb does not win.
Oh, yeah.
And
Oh,
he
yeah.
like pitches a fit.
He's very upset about it, yeah.
And he's a little
Which-
rough with her.
She does get a reward.
Yeah, she does.
She does get a
Although
reward.
he steals her panties, and she is very upset
Which is so
about it.
fun. I think that's fun. But then she has to get him back later, and I was like, that's no fun.
She made
She shouldn't give him back, though. She
Yeah,
doesn't give them back.
He doesn't give them back. Caleb literally made her go to Washer's class with no panties. I'm just saying. That's
That's
cruel.
iconic.
Ew, Washer,
No, that's
too.
iconic.
Yeah. She doesn't think it's amazing.
I think it's a fun game.
I forgot to mention they pull their tarot cards out and they're actually learning the spreads. And of course, there's a tarot card from Astrum in their deck. It's the Empress, and Sophia says that represents maternal, all things maternal, and pregnancy and whatever. And the authors make a mistake. Tori's like, I hope that's not a prediction, but could you imagine my big brown eyes with Caleb's blonde curls? She has green eyes. She doesn't have brown eyes. So the authors fucked that up.
She has green eyes? I don't even remember that.
Yeah, both she and Darcy have green eyes, and they make a big deal out of the green eyes later.
Yeah, because I saw that too, the brown. And it's somehow something about that seemed weird. I think it's, as I'm reading it, I see them how I create.
Yeah.
And it never is actually.
Well, you know,
matches.
doesn't Harry Potter have green eyes too?
Yes. Notoriously green eyes.
Black hair.
Black hair, yeah.
Wow.
Damn, could they have made it any clearer?
But yeah,
Anyways.
I caught that and I was just like, no.
But then they find another tarot card that has a message on it.
Yeah, and it says, in the Palace of Souls rest a secret untold. Find the light who burned on after the fire. So this could mean a lot of things. Sophia points out that the Palace of Souls is their actual palace. And both, if I remember correctly, I could be wrong, but when the twins were younger, their mortal house burned down. But I do think their parents died in a fire-like event.
You talking about the
Yeah.
real parent?
King and queen, yeah. I mean, they think that they died of nymphs, but there was also fire.
Find the light who burned on after the fire. What could that possibly be?
Personally, I feel like a lot of these messages, there are no clues in the book to tell you what they could possibly mean until you to get the answer. So I do think the authors need to work on that a little bit.
Yeah, it's not fun.
Yeah, I've said it about the first Mercy Thompson series where the betrayer turned out to be someone you've never met.
Yeah.
And you could never guess it, and that's just wrong. Like, it's no fun for the author or for the reader not to be able to figure it out on their own.
Yeah.
And I disapprove.
Yeah, they need to work on that a little bit, but it is what it is.
So Tori tries to get her panties from Caleb at Fire Elemental class, but Darius showing up kind of unsettles her. Things are weird between them now since they woke up in bed together.
That's because she knows that she likes him and she doesn't want to admit it because she's still angry at him.
Yeah. And Caleb calls out to her that he will give the panties back if she comes and stays in his room with her. And she cannot take the public display. She's like, I'm not going to be declared yours. I'm not your girlfriend. I don't get to be claimed. Like, the school is not going to put us together.
You would have thought Caleb would have been smarter to not do that publicly, like known her well enough to.
He's made several overtures toward her in public, and she's pulled away every time.
Yeah.
And he hasn't gotten the hint yet. He just doesn't seem to get her.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to get her. I agree with that.
And she ends up turning her back on him and flipping him off, which really, like, Darcy's like, you should have seen his face. And I wonder, is he pissed off? Is he
Hurt? Is he confused?
Frustrated.
Okay, so there's a major storm going on. Darcy runs to the Pluto offices to get her package, her very special package that she
Fucking
wants.
Darius, or Diego.
Yes.
Diego shows up, gets his package. He's got some Minotaur glue to glue his box back together.
He's like, what is it, Darcy?
Yeah.
Tell me what's in it.
And he's like trying to get her package. And Orion shows up, knocks him to the ground.
Yay.
Diego calls him a bloodsucker, and he's a little offended.
In Spanish.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I was surprised, but not surprised about. But immediately Diego's just like, I don't like him. I don't want anything to do with him. And Orion feels the same. They hate each other pretty much.
He definitely has something against Orion, but to me, it seems like he hates all vampires. I don't understand why he has that such strong feeling against one order, but...
Okay, so what you're saying is up to the point that you've read, there still is not an answer to that.
No, I know.
Oh, okay. So you're just throwing that in there. I see.
But at this point in the book,
Somebody fucked up.
God damn it, Brittany.
So if Diego was a nymph, would Orion be able to tell when he bit him?
Oh! Christy!
Well, we went down this
Christy.
path with Diego, but the thing is, if that's the case, if he could tell, then that would knock him out from being a nymph.
there is a point in the As Told by Boys that Orion bites a student and says that they taste like foot.
Okay, so it's confirmed that one of the students is a nymph and they taste like foot. And it could be Diego.
But that means Orion didn't piece together that them tasting like that means that they're a nymph.
It could be that Orion's never bitten a nymph before.
So he doesn't know. He just thinks it tastes really bad.
Okay.
But then Orion kind of like messes with him and is like, okay, but you have a crush on Darcy.
Yeah, he's like, Dear
And
Diary.
he's like, no, I don't.
P.S. I hope Darcy Vega doesn't realize I have a crush on her. And yeah, he's like, actually I like Sophia, but
Liar.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
He does not like Sophia. Even the Vega twins note that if he really
Yeah.
liked her, then, I mean, half the time he doesn't know where she is and doesn't care.
Yeah, I mean, Diego's always around Darcy. He's not really around Sophia. Maybe he did like her at first, but
they do live in the same house.
So?
Diego and Darcy.
But Sophia's not always up Tori's ass.
That's true. So while Orion's there, Darcy notes that his mailbox says that he lives at 3 Asteroid Place, conveniently noting where he lives. All right, so to cheer Diego up, Darcy texts Tori and Sophia and was like, okay, meet me at Jupiter Hall, and they go to steal Diego's hat back.
Because he can't do this shit himself.
Okay, and then Darcy and Diego meet up with them, and he's like, why are they here?
Yeah, he's upset they're there.
Which is like, what did you want to do alone with Darcy? Why did you want to be alone with Darcy?
I mean,
Is it because you like her? You said you don't like her, so what's going on?
And they work as a group to get in. Angelica even offers to help him with the box, and she cleans up after they like barge in. And Orion's left a note on the desk saying, "Fae bleed for what they want. Prove that you're Fae."
Prove that you're Fae because you're a nymph, motherfucker.
possibly. Maybe he did taste the feet and knew what it meant.
So he like bites into his palm and rubs it over the shield and gets his hat back. So hopefully we will not have to listen to him bitch anymore about not having his hat.
Oh my god. For his
Yeah,
the one that was
I
from his
foresee that
girlfriend / abuela.
Girlfriend.
So she goes back to her room, dyes her hair, and follows the surge to text Orion. And she's like, "What are you doing?" And he sends her a photo of him in bed.
Screamed. I was like, he did not just send her a photo.
Shirtless with his numerology book.
I see it so clearly in my head. I just can't with this man.
I love that this starts it, but he has this thing about books that borders on sexual.
Same question mark? No, I'm just kidding. We're all librarians, or we worked in a library, so I feel like, is it really that crazy?
yeah, no, I mean,
Depends on the context.
True.
Does he like books in bed while it's happening? Or
well, at the end of the book, the numerology book was in the bed with.
that's true.
Not that they really like.
They didn't use it.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay, so he asks her what she's doing back, and she sends a picture of herself with a pillowcase around her hair so he can't see. And he's like, "How did you know about my pillowcase fetish?"
He's so goofy when he tries to flirt.
I love his flirting.
He's an idiot.
And then she's like, "Well, you're not allowed to see my hair. I made a decision." And
He's like, what does that mean?
is it blue or green? Or am I off? And so she, of course, gets the idea to go visit him, runs through the storm, and shows up at his door,
Pride and Prejudice style, if I might note.
knocks on his door, and he opens the door all grumpy, and then he's like,
He's like, hello. And
How
she's
you
like, what do I
doing?
do now?
She's like, "Blue, just wanted to tell you that I'm going to go now."
Was it that, or was it more like, don't stop me?
And then we finally have the scene I've been waiting for.
Yes, he invites her in. She tries to leave again because she's so nervous. And he's like, "Nope, come with me to my bedroom. I'm going to cast this contraception spell on you because I don't trust you to do it. You might explode something."
Goofballs.
And so
then we end it there.
yeah, they spend the night together, and they do the whole like, "I have to go. No, 5 more minutes."
But that whole chapter, when she's talking about him and like the build up and then the end and how she feels about him, that again, I felt like they were fated somehow, like the stars were involved.
And it's important to note that they talk about if they get caught, she might get kicked out of the academy and he'll lose his job, possibly go to jail, be power shamed. And he says, "If we ever get caught, I will do whatever I can do to save you from those consequences."
How does that work though?
He's such a romantic.
Because what if that puts Darius in trouble, in danger? If he gets fired,
He doesn't care about that right now.
but how's that going to work once it's tested?
So
You don't have to answer. I know you can't can't really answer without giving anything away, but it was just a thought.
If they're caught and he goes to jail, then literally they will be separated and it will drive both of them crazy. Perhaps Lionel could use his influence to get him out of jail. Would Lionel be nice enough to do that? But there's also the possibility that if they're caught, he's just power shamed and he loses his job, but he's still the guardian and he just has to stay within range of Darius. And there's nothing about the power shaming that will stop him from being the guardian. So
Yeah.
unless Lionel's just like kill him.
I guess we'll see what happens though.
Yeah.
Washer lives next door. Will they be caught?
Yeah.
God.
Find out next time.
Oh, yeah.
Well, not only that, but Darius comes to visit Orion occasionally too.
I don't think he would rat them out though.
You don't think so?
No.
Even though Orion would be screwing his enemy?
Yeah, I really don't think so because he also wants to screw his enemy. So just saying.
So, what do you think about the elemental trials that are coming up? We have one, like, the next chapter is still Wednesday night, and then elemental trials start Thursday. What do you think that they're going to make them do?
I hope it's interesting because up to this point, we actually haven't gotten a lot of really cool action out of their magic. So I hope that the trials are actually trials, like fun to read, like interesting to read.
Yeah. I think in the water, at the very least, we're going to have a drowning aspect.
Yeah, poor Tory.
Maybe an ice too.
with the drowning. But maybe she'll come out like feeling like she's overcome that.
Yeah.
And fire, she gonna control her element during this test?
I think, especially if they're along the dragon lines, maybe their order will emerge at that point. Be like,
I wonder.
jazz hands, you're screwed.
All right, I guess that wraps up part 1 of book 3 of the Zodiac Academy series, The Reckoning. We hope you've enjoyed the show, and we hope you come back next week for the next episode, where we're going to be discussing book 3, The Reckoning, chapters 14 through 25. New episodes drop every week.
Please remember to like, subscribe, and follow us on social media. That like and follow are super important for us to be able to continue to bring you new episodes each week. So please do so. Thank you for listening to the Midnight Readers podcast. We'll see you next week.
Happy reading, listeners. Don't stay up too late.